An orthocenter is simply the place where all three altitudes in a triangle intersect. So basically, all you have to do is create three altitudes and plot where they intersect. That's all you have to do. So let's first start with the altitude from M to ON. So what I would do in this case is to first extend your lines because most likely in most triangles, you're not going to get your two intersection points from the piece that is already there. So I'm going to extend my lines. And so again, so now I'm going to start at M, line it up, hold this down, unlock your compass so it's below the line, lock that back in so there's no wiggling. So you're going to hold and swing. And now we have our two intersection points. So again, you're going to take your compass, start at one of them, have a distance that's about a little bit more than halfway, lock that in, and we swing, flip to the other side, hold down. See if I can do this with my left hand because that would make it a lot easier. Can I do it? No, can't. Here we go. Not bad for left hand. So now your first altitude is the intersection of M and the point where our two arcs meet. So I mark that and I create a line connecting them. So this is our first altitude. So we're going to repeat that process 2 more times. So I'm going to turn my paper. I'm now going to construct an altitude from point O. Again, I'm just going to extend my lines before I start because I have a feeling it will just make my life a lot easier. The diagrams for Orthocenter will probably look a lot more confusing than it is, because if you can just know that you're just creating 3 altitudes, it's not that difficult of a process if you know how to construct an altitude. Remember, an altitude is the same process as a perpendicular line that is not through a point not on the line. So again, I've swung my first arc, gotten my 2 intersection points, choose one to start with, make that distance a little bit more than halfway, and we swing without changing the distance. We move to the second intersection point. Let's see if I can do this again with my opposite hand. Okay, and we swing. So now there's a lot of lines going on, but remember, you care about the one that's below the segment. Keep your eye on the prize. Straight edge, line up between your vertex O and your new point. Yeah, see, so my original is slightly off. Now we have our second altitude. So we have one more. So again, I'm going to turn. I just like it. It's easier for me when the point is above at the top of where I'm working. So now I'm going to first extend my opposite side. Okay, and so same process. Line up with the vertex. Change your distance so that way it's below the line. So it should hit twice. You always want those 2 intersection points. Now this is when you kind of have to pay attention right? It might help to go over it a couple of times to say, okay, this is my most recent arc. So I'm hitting here and here because there's a lot of lines going on. And so you might say get confused because these also intersect the line, but you just want to stay focused. If you have different colors and you wanted to like mark the arcs for each one that you've done, that's also a really great idea. You know, like as you go, when you finished the ones from M, say, okay, give like a just a little blue dot to those, yellow dot to these, so that way you can just sort of follow them to make sure. Also an option. But if you're staying focused, it should not be that big of a deal. So let's stay off, put our vertex. I'm going to make sure my distance is a little bit more than halfway. Lock it. You're not changing it after this point. Once you create this arc, you do not change it again. And now we go to our second intersection point. Again, distance does not change. I'm going to do my opposite hand. Better grip on this. Okay, so now intersection point is here. We are going to connect. And so sometimes it's not going to be exact, but when you make a nice big point, you then have your orthocenter. So you might be told to label that as O, the orthocenter.